June 3, 1998, a bright, peaceful morning in Germany. A family sits together on a high-speed train, sipping coffee, watching the countryside fly by. They're on their way from Munich to Hamburg. Everything feels calm. Everything feels safe. But just 12 minutes later, their world turns upside down. A sharp piece of steel suddenly bursts through the floor, right between their seats. In an instant, their joy turns to terror. And that moment becomes the beginning of Germany's deadliest high-speed train disaster. In the 1950s, Japan stunned the world with the Shinkansen, the bullet train, a symbol of progress, speed, and precision. Inspired by Japan, France and Italy built their own high-speed rail networks Germany didn't want to be left behind. So they created the Intercity Express, or ICE, a sleek, modern train designed for comfort, technology, and elegance. It was fast. It was silent. It was perfect. Or, at least, that's what everyone thought, because hidden beneath that perfection was a small flaw, a flaw that would one day lead to unimaginable tragedy. The first ICE trains used solid monoblock wheels, a single piece of steel. They were strong, reliable, and built to last. But soon, passengers began to notice something strange. At high speeds, the train started to vibrate. Glasses rattled in the dining car, spoons clinked on tables. It just didn't feel right. Engineers investigated and discovered the cause. Some wheels had worn down unevenly. Just a few grams of imbalance was enough to shake the entire train at 250 kilometers an hour. Balancing those wheels was complicated, and replacing them was expensive. So the engineers designed something new, the resilient wheel. It had two steel rings separated by a layer of rubber. The idea was simple: absorb the vibrations, make the ride smoother. It worked beautifully on city trams. But there was one problem. Trams run at 30 kilometers per hour, and ICE trains ran at 250. Still, the design was approved, without full testing. By 1992, every high-speed ICE train had resilient wheels installed. For years, they seemed to work perfectly, until the cracks began to appear. It was 10:30 a.m. when ICE 884 left Hanover for Hamburg. 14 coaches, 2 locomotives, nearly 300 people on board, among them George Dittmann, traveling with his wife and children. Everything was peaceful. Then suddenly, a loud bang. Something slammed into the floor beneath their seats. A sharp piece of metal tore through the cabin. It was part of a broken wheel. Panicked, George rushed his family to another compartment and ran to find the conductor. But company policy was strict. The train couldn't stop until the conductor saw the issue himself, so both men headed toward the front of the train, unaware that disaster was seconds away. As they walked, the vibrations grew worse. Underneath the train, that broken wheel was still dragging along the track, sparking, grinding, tearing, and then the train reached a switching point. The broken metal struck the track lever, changing the track mid-speed. The first 2 coaches stayed on one track, but the third coach suddenly veered onto another. The train twisted violently. Coach 3 smashed straight into a bridge pillar, and in that instant, everything changed. The bridge collapsed. Coaches 4 and 5 were crushed beneath 300 tons of concrete, flattened to just 6 inches. 3 railway workers nearby died instantly. The rest of the coaches slammed into each other like folding paper. Only the first 2 cars survived. The locomotive rolled 3 kilometers ahead before finally stopping. The drivers felt the shock, but had no idea of the nightmare unfolding behind them. The crash site was near a small town called Eschede. Residents heard a deafening explosion and rushed to help. What they saw was beyond words: twisted steel, burning debris, the sound of screams echoing through the wreckage. Many passengers were trapped inside, behind pressure-proof windows that couldn't be broken. Rescue workers had to bring in heavy machines just to cut through the metal. Over 1,000 rescuers, doctors, and soldiers worked for hours. But the scale of destruction was overwhelming. 101 people lost their lives, 88 were critically injured, and Germany's symbol of pride was now its greatest tragedy. From one broken wheel to a nation forever changed. This was the story of the Eschede train disaster, the day Germany's pride in speed turned into its greatest sorrow.